Mr. Jerry Vaval, what's going on, bloody?
JTG.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up?
Welcome the audience to another episode of Giant Fundamentals, the podcast dedicated to empowering men by tackling the vital issues of mental health. With that being said, how's your heart? How's your mind? How's your body? What is your giant gratitude this week?
Man, heart feels amazing, full of love. I'm content, appreciative, a lot of compassion, self-compassion. I'm in a place where I'm really just loving life, man. I'm just really appreciating life and how everything is unfolding. It's crazy how when you just let go, you just let go and let God. You just let go. You just let things develop the way they need to develop. Man, you're writing a beautiful story. So my heart is full, it's content, exercising a lot of self-compassion, and it's not even like I'm trying to, it's just happening. My body, I feel good. I don't feel sore or whatever. But I know I had this calf that's it's been tripping lately. But I know it's my shoes. But want to get more into the workout. I've been seeing my trainer consistently, but I know I need to um, do a little bit more walking, which I have been, which has been good. Just walking around the neighborhood in the morning or in the late afternoons. What heart, body, okay, my mind. I don't feel like I'm overanalyzing or overthinking things like I used to. It's like I start to think about certain things and then I go down this path of started to catastrophize. And then it's like something happens where my mind stops and be like, oh, can't worry about that. And you could do about it. And I just move on. I never was able to do that. And I noticed that the last week or so that my mind is clear now. I'm not just accumulating. I'm not hoarding pretty much, because we don't recognize we could hoard a bunch of thoughts and what happened in the past, just ruminating on that or focusing so much on potential futures. Like, the key word is potential, focusing on potential futures, things that may not even happen. And you just hoarding all of these thoughts. And I'm no longer doing that. So I'm thankful for that. I think overall, my giant gratitude is something that I recognize that came to my attention when I went on my walk. One of my walks this week is there was a day this week, I believe it was Tuesday or no, it was Wednesday. And I had a conversation with a friend the day before. And I was like, man, these are certain things I need to do for my practice so I could take the next step, so on and so forth. And that conversation really motivated me. And the next day I just got to executing. And I haven't really felt like that in a long time. And when I went on my walk, I recognized that there is a difference between being productive and being inspired. A lot of times we focus on, I got to be productive, and we're going off this checklist. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. I got to do that. And that can be uninspiring. Like you're just checking off boxes. So that day, I was productive. I didn't do a lot of things. I did meaningful things. And it was based off of what I had said in the previous conversation with that friend. And it felt inspiring. And I recognized that, okay, I want to have more inspiring days and less days where it's just checking off the box, being productive.
How do you feel like, how do you set that up? How do you have more inspiring days?
I think it's when you take time to really see what's important to you, like organizing things properly to where you're doing things that deal with the present moment. Okay, there's certain things I need to do for the present moment, and then there's certain things that I need to do towards the future. And I strongly believe that the things that you want to see happen in the future are the things that will inspire you when you are actively taking steps towards doing them. I have a vision for the practice. I have a vision for my brand. And what was happening was I was so focused on seeing clients one-on-one. I was so focused on making the immediate money that I was neglecting the future plans. And I wasn't neglecting it completely, but I wasn't like really getting into it for real like I needed to. And other things were distracting me, like little things, whatever. So this is why I really believe that having somebody to like talk through certain things that you want to do, and then also just always revisiting your plan,
Yeah.
always revisiting to make sure that you're not veering off. It's so easy to veer off.
Mhm.
So that day, I really took time to focus on the future planning, and I haven't really been doing a lot of that. So that's why I feel like it felt like an inspiring day.
No, it's very interesting because we don't plan our gratitudes at all. But if I were to describe how my mind, my body, and my heart feels, it's inspired. Um, you know, really listening to my body, been working out the last couple of weeks, just really like the way my body feels. Like I'm feeling like I feel like every day I wake up, my stomach feels a little smaller. I feel a new muscle coming in. Definitely feeling that calf, Achilles area in the legs. But it's like, okay, let me stretch, let me walk more, let me do some of the little things. Definitely feel more inspired and not running on fumes of motivation. Um, my heart, I just feel it feels so full, right? Even from last podcast, I talked about how full it is, but just really paying attention to my silent relationships, like my relationship with my kids, my relationship with some of my best friends, some of my coworkers. Like these are the people we interact with each and every day, and I think we take them for granted to a certain extent. Um, and just really showing appreciation and focusing on them. And it was like one of my friends was asking me like, "Oh, like when's the last time one of your daughters called me?" And I was like, "Oh, she doesn't really call me. Sometimes I have to text them. You know how the teenage kids is." But I said, "My goddaughter, my Juju, she gonna call. If we didn't speak for like a week and a half, she gonna call me and say, 'Hey, uncle, I ain't hear from you.'" And like clockwork, with the 24 hours, she called me in the middle of my day. She was like, "Uncle, we haven't talked." So I just told her, "You know what, Juju, I appreciate you. I appreciate you reaching out just at a very young age to be very cognizant of how much I mean to her." So that really helped me out. That really made me feel blessed. And my mind definitely feels inspired and feels clear. And my giant gratitude was I just came from New Orleans, the Essence Fest, which is like the biggest black festival in America. And I like I told you, I felt like I was in the promised land. Like I had never seen so many black people at one time. No blunt in sight. There was two blunts. They snuck in though. But that was I ain't see like I never seen that many black people and it not be a fight. Like there was no violence. Everyone was just beautiful, organized, respectful. I got emotional, bro. I was like, yo, this is crazy. I really didn't know and it was beautiful to see. And growing up, we always heard about representation on TV or in culture and how it's important to protect our culture, and black people need to see black people in certain spaces. Asian people need to see Asian people. White people always see their people. Like we need like representation is important. And it took me until that moment to realize how important it is to see my people in other spaces outside of what we usually see. And I was like, I definitely felt inspired.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
good.
It was a great trip. No, I always wanted to be a hot boy anyway. You know what I'm saying? I know it, Julie. What cooling water?
Hey,
Baby.
man,
Hey, come on, dog. I almost put on the shoulder rag, boy. I was gonna try to style it all the way through.
Pico water.
No water. We cooling. Baby, they always say baby. New Orleans. I love it. It was a great trip. It was amazing. So I was just grateful, and that was just my giant gratitude. It was like, yeah, that representation was definitely inspiring. Um, talk about inspiring. Before we get to our mental health music, let's talk a little bit of sports. The free agency situation has been crazy over the last couple weeks. I think we talked briefly a couple episodes ago about Jaylen Brown going to Philadelphia, and that was a big splash. But there's a lot of different movement, but the one taking most of the headlines now is Your Highness LeBron James, the king.
LeBron James.
I mean, what, 20, 21 years in the league
23,
and
3,
23?
going on
This year
24.
23?
Yeah.
24? Yeah, see? I don't even know how many years, and he's still driving us crazy when it comes to free agency. I know 16 years ago was the infamous decision. And now it feels like we're waiting for another decision, bro. So how do you feel about what's going on with LeBron?
No, I love it. I love it because I love the offseason more than I actually love the season, to be honest with you. I love that's my Love Island. That's my drama.
You love the Zan.
Yeah, yeah. That's out there. That's like, dang, I actually do love drama, but I love it in the form of sports. Oh,
Mm,
okay, okay.
we all have
But
things in
to me, it is unprecedented how you're 41 years old
Mhm.
and you are an NBA athlete, a player, and everyone is still waiting on what you're going to do. This really speaks to his power. And I'm not talking about like power moving through the entertainment world, his inner power. He knows who he is. He's not rushing, he's taking his time, he's not worrying about what people say, moving, he's moving according to how he wants to move. He's securing himself. And that's
Right.
someone that knows their power. And I believe that, especially as Black men, we should definitely aspire to be that way in any of our fields, in anything that we're doing.
Mhm.
And it's just an amazing thing to see, man. It's an amazing thing to see. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
And
it's truly amazing and inspiring to be that old in. I mean, let's be real. He's a gummoon when it comes to sports, right?
yeah, sure.
And still be considered a cornerstone. Well, I don't want to say cornerstone, but an important piece to a championship team. Like there's
Yeah.
teams he'll go to and they say, "Oh yeah, that's a championship."
Mhm.
Because he's added. Like as much as I heard Colin Cowherd say, yeah, people might say, "Oh, that's still the easy way out." He was like, he's earned to take the easy way out.
Yeah.
Like he's sacrificed so much. He's brought so many championships to different cities.
I don't really believe that's the easy way out though. That's the
But
thing
that's the narrative.
that's crazy because think
Mhm.
about it. He is not in his prime. I could understand if he did this when he was 25 years old. He
Mm.
said, "Oh, he went to the Heat. That was the easy way out, him teaming up with Bosh and Wade," which isn't true at all because there's the road traveled. You still have to go through the road to win the championship. People
True.
only just look at talent. They look at
Mm.
skill. But the intangibles, the ups and downs going through the season, people losing parents, people going through divorce, people are getting sick, people are getting injured. Like that's it is never easy. It's
Yeah.
never easy. So to say that, oh, taking the easy way out, especially at the age of 41, how is he taking the easy way out? But this just shows the level of excellence that we demand from him
Mhm.
and how he set the bar so high for himself and how people are trying to set the bar even higher.
Yeah.
Because to think that a 41-year-old is taking the easy way out by going to another team that has younger players that are probably like 12, 13 years younger than him, it's
Mhm.
like, what? That's crazy to me. But
Yep.
the narratives they make for good TV, so you gotta say things like that, you know?
Gotta love the drama. You gotta love the drama.
Drama, drama, drama.
Add into our drama, what M&Ms you have for us this week? Mental health music.
So there was a song that I've been listening to this week by J. Cole on his latest album called Poor Thing. And he's
Mhm.
essentially telling a story. And I want to go to verse 3. Songs these days, they don't usually have 3 verses.
I know, right? TikTok
Yeah.
music.
Yeah. So so in this third verse, he says, "Plenty nights a nigga didn't eat, punk bitch. Ran on, damn near was on the street, punk bitch. Weren't no Western Unions from you when I needed, punk bitch. All of a sudden I'm buzzing. Oh, now it's beef, punk bitch. Go on and pop off. Get fucked about your mystique, punk bitch. I knew you way before you was acting street, punk bitch. Started rolling with niggas that packing heat, punk bitch. You more like me than them niggas. You still a geek, punk bitch. You can't hide it with tattoos on your physique, punk bitch. And that lingo you added to how you speak, punk bitch. and you grew up with both your parents to teach, punk bitch. So how the fuck all of a sudden you turning G, punk bitch? You a slave to pure pressure, you weak, punk bitch. You ain't claiming no real section, your street wasn't lit. Man, your shit look like mine with hella tree trunk, bitch. Moved to Forest Hill Drive and it was peace for a bit till domestic turned violent. Then a key just switched in the back of my mind. I gotta be something, bitch. So it just keeps going like that. But the reason why I chose this is because
Mhm.
as he's telling the story, he's saying that he's talking about somebody else. And he's expressing to this person how you're not who you think you are. Like, I know who you really are. You're
Mm,
acting like you're someone that you're not. And you can do all of these things to cover up who you really are at your core. You can get the tattoos, you can speak differently, you could try to move with a different crowd, but you know and I know who you really are. So let's stop faking the funk. And the thing is, a lot of us do that. And I think a lot of us do that because we're not comfortable with who we really are.
mhm.
We're truly not comfortable with who we so we feel as if we have to shape and shift into something completely different from who we really are. And I'm not talking about evolving and transforming. I'm literally talking about it's like you got dirty underwear, dirty undershirt, but yeah, you're putting clean clothes on top of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How much of that is interesting? Because when I'm thinking about childhood dynamics, how much of that not us feeling comfortable with who we really are, part of it has to deal with community and being accepted,
Oh, for sure.
right?
It has, yeah, it's everything has to do with that. Yeah.
Because
Community being accepted, where you were, your family placement, a lot of that deals with that.
it's like it was interesting, especially the way we grew up. Because when J. Cole said rent, own, well, when he said plenty nights a nigga didn't eat, punk bitch, I'm like, dawg, I remember not me specifically, but I had a neighbor who he didn't eat. He didn't eat at sometimes. You know what I mean? Talking about love. Remember love?
Oh,
Then
yeah.
yeah, exactly. So then rent own damn near was on the street, punk bitch. Like I remember driving through certain neighborhoods, and that was like the scariest thing is when you got the landlord kicked you out, and then the marshals had to come and they throw your stuff on the
Mm,
street.
yeah.
And like that was a thing, like that I saw in New York and in Miami. Like, damn, all this stuff is on the street. And be like, damn, what happened? I asked my mom. My mom was like, they couldn't pay their rent or the
Mm,
landlord kicked them out and everything was on the street. So it's like that was embarrassing and that was hard for a child who go through that to be accepted. Then
mhm,
a child like me who grew up in a two-parent household, who always went to church, always was good in class, it's like it was hard for me to be accepted because I also wanted to have tattoos and chill
mm.
with the niggas on the block. So it was like this dual thing working against each other. And it's like you said, we all had dirty laundry underneath our clean clothes. But it's just like it was weird, you know? Now
And
that I think
here's the thing with you, I never really saw you as somebody that was trying to change who you were. Like you were hanging around a certain crowd, but you weren't like trying to be a
mm,
thug. That's not what you were
that's
doing. You never tried to do that.
well, I felt like there were times where I did things with different people or the thugs or whoever, and it was like I could see myself like, yo, you don't even if you get in trouble, what you gonna tell your dad? You know what I'm saying? Like there was certain things I did in elementary school, whatever the case may be, and I'm like, you sitting there slapping Catherine's butt, and it's like, why are you doing that? You're not even that type of dude, but I'm trying to be cool. You get what I'm saying? And then I can see where you stay on that trajectory and you try to be cool, you try to be cool. Now you end up somewhere you not how did I even get here? And I
Yeah.
was just faking the funk, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
So I don't know if you had anything
No,
to
no,
add.
no. No, that was yeah. I see.
Yeah,
I
got
just
you.
don't
Go ahead.
really I think there's a difference between like being a kid and just trying different things and being curious
Mm.
versus trying to embody an image that you're not about that life. Like
When do you
I used
mhm.
to hang around like middle school. Well, not so much high school, maybe a little bit. I used to hang around certain people that they would smoke, they would drink at a very young age, doing things that were extremely illegal, bank scamming, all this stuff. I never did it though, because I knew better. I was like, "Psh, I ain't doing that thing. Y'all boys,
Makes
y'all
sense.
go ahead, y'all do that." But knew the line. I wasn't trying to live that life. But I did what I did. I did drop out of high school, not because it's because I didn't like school. I wasn't motivated. I didn't know how to navigate it. And then friends around me dropped out too. So it's kind of like a mixed bag, but I wasn't trying to embody being a thug though. I was just going through life being a kid with no guidance, no supervision. And even when you do have quote unquote guidance or parents that are physically present, let's say that, you're still
Yeah,
going to end up doing certain little things here and there. It's just a part of growing up. But I think there's a difference between that versus trying to be like, oh, like a thug. Like, bro, there's somebody that we know, I'm not going to say his name, grew up in a two-parent household, had a younger brother, grew up in Miami Shores. You probably know who I'm talking about now,
mhm,
and, you know, growing up, I'm like, "Man, he has like, his parents everything on the outside looks so good."
yeah,
But none of us knew until we got older that he was failing in school. He was going to private school, he was failing. Not only that, he was abused a lot. And
mm,
nobody would ever know, and his dad abused his mom, his dad abused him, and down the line, like, when we got older, when he got into his 20s, he started, like, um, dealing with gangbangers and selling drugs, and I was like, "You don't even come from that what?" I'm like, "What are you
yeah,
doing? Like, what is going on?" I'm like, "What?" I think he got pistol whipped one time. It's a bunch of nonsense with this kid. I'm like, but I don't know, even though he had his parents there, but it was still a dysfunctional home, and he grew up in a very well-off neighborhood. He's ended up
mhm,
falling to those things over time, and then now he's still in that type of stuff, and it's like,
yeah,
that's crazy. So what you're saying is, yeah, next thing you know, you look back, you're like, "Dang, how the hell did I get here?"
yeah. I'm glad you brought up the pressures of life that many of us may go through in our childhood. I think that leads us to our main topic, which as men, we have the pressures to provide and protect, and we don't necessarily know how to manage that. So, if you could break down to us ways that we can manage, at least 3 ways we can manage it, dealing with those pressures to provide and protect.
Yeah, the pressures to provide and protect, I didn't realize how much of a pressure that was
Hmm,
or that is until maybe, like, the last year or 2, and it's not just with myself, but it's literally with the male clients that I see,
mhm,
and it's like a reoccurring theme, and it's as if every man feels the pressure to provide and protect. It's like it's biologically, socially, and culturally wired in us to want to provide and protect, and I wanna make it clear that there's nothing wrong with that at all.
mhm,
Should want to do that for those we love. But the problem isn't the responsibility of providing and protecting itself. That's not the problem. It's when those responsibilities they become the measure of your worth as a man. That when you become overly attached with those responsibilities. And many men, whether it is quietly or if it's said out loud, but many men feel the financial pressure, the emotional pressure, the family pressure, and mainly the pressure to never fail. Like we have no room for error, especially if you're a black man. You feel like you have no maneuverability because you're trying to create something and do something that the past generation of men didn't do. And
mhm,
eventually what ends up happening is this weight, it becomes overwhelming.
mhm,
Then it leads to anxiety. And a lot of us don't even recognize what that anxiety looks like. It's always the ruminating and thinking ahead over time. Just keep thinking, oh, this happened and that happened, just trying to plan, excessively plan,
mhm,
which eventually leads to burnout where you can't do anything. You don't have the desire or the motivation to even live. A lot of us are experiencing this burnout and we're just getting up every day and we're just doing the same thing over and over and over again. But then that burnout, it leads to or is simultaneously you're experiencing irritability. So when you're in a relationship, you're married and you come home and you don't want to deal with your spouse and you're short and you're sarcastic and you're defensive, it's because of the pressure to provide and protect because you have been overly attached to your responsibilities.
Mhm.
And then we know a good one that the women always want to blame us for, which is that we're always emotionally withdrawing or always working. But there's a reason for that because we are carrying unnecessary weight,
Mhm.
this big weight to be able to provide the trips, make sure the bills are on top, make sure we're saving and we're thinking about our future, making sure the kids are experiencing a great childhood, getting all the things that we wish we had, like the extracurricular activities, like all of these different things.
Mhm.
That's all the pressure that's put on us. And there's a question that every man has to eventually ask himself. Very simple question.
What is that?
What happens if I can't provide?
So, that's a very interesting question because with everything you said, it was almost like I expected that when I was married. But then when I got divorced, I still felt the pressure of providing and protecting, even though I wasn't in the household.
Mhm.
So it's like, I was like, man, I gotta send more money. I gotta do this. I gotta. And it's like, it's not till now, and we've had many conversations where I realized that, like you said, it was nothing wrong with having the feeling or the responsibility to provide and protect, to have that as an important value of mine. But I realized that in my subconscious, it was something that I needed to validate me. So it's like when we were talking about some of the guys who grew up around playing ball, some of the guys we talked to in our older age, and you was like, you said this one thing, you was like, man, it's sad because a lot of us men have all gone through the same thing. And these group of men that we were talking about, the ones that we seen in the neighborhood that played ball with us, that made sure we got to the bus stop, that was like kind of like our fathers outside of our fathers. Like they were father figures to us, but we were like still growing up and they would give us some bit of advice or whatever. You said nobody never told them that they were good men. Like just you're a good man. Despite all the baby mama drama you had and the crazy life you live and you've been in and out of jail, you're still a good man. And that was something that was like a big revelation for me when we were having this conversation about a month ago.
Yeah. Yeah, because we think a good man is being able to do all the things that I just mentioned. But I would say the reason why you felt the way that you felt, even though you're no longer in the house, you got a divorce is because, and this is something that every man that has responsibility could relate to, it's because your identity becomes tied to your performance instead of your humanity. That's the thing. So the women that we're with, they want us to be emotionally present.
Mhm,
They want us to be emotionally aware. But a robot doesn't have the capabilities to be emotionally present and emotionally aware. As men, from the time we were boys, we were trained to be robots. Why is that? We were trained to cut off our emotions
mhm,
and just get the task done because that's how you find yourself being valuable. But there's a thing that is changing, and we are a part of you. When I say we, you and I are a part of that change, is literally changing that narrative and allowing men to see themselves in a different light, allowing them to see themselves as human. Bro, it's okay to be tired. It's okay not to get that task done. It's okay to say, "Hey, Imma call off work today because I just don't got it." It's okay. You don't have to keep pushing and pushing and pushing to prove that you're something, to
mhm,
prove that you're worthy. You already are.
mhm,
But it's hard to embrace that. It's hard to accept that when you haven't done the inner child work. Because a lot of how we operate as men deal with spoken and unspoken messages that we received when we were younger.
mhm,
So until you go into the mainframe and you start to deprogram, you start to dissect, and you start to really get into like, okay, why do I feel as if I can't rest? for the day until all of the tasks are done? Why do I feel as if I do not deserve to just relax and hang? Why is it that I do this thing where I'm providing for my partner, I'm providing for my kids to have a great time, but I myself, I'm not having a great time. I don't even go with them. I just give them the money to go do it. And
Mm.
if it's there, why is it that I can't be present and enjoy the moment? Why am I emotionally detached from the present? Why am I thinking about all the things I need to do? All of that stuff deals with the unhealthy construct that we've developed and that we've been handed to from when we were younger. And that's because we were taught like, you're not human. No, 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 you're not human. You're a robot. And this is what men do in this box.
So what was that question again we should be asking ourselves?
What happens if I can't provide? And for every man that's listening to this right now, if you take your time to really sit in that question, I want you to really be able to not just think through it, but feel your way through it. What are you feeling when you think of the question, what happens if I can't provide? Before you even start to try to answer it, the feelings, does that scare you? Does it make you anxious? Does it make you feel inadequate? Does it make you feel like those who love you will abandon you? Does it make you feel like if I can't provide, I will be rejected? Does it make me feel less than? Will it make me feel as if I'm letting down people in my life? What are the feelings associated with that question? If you can access the feelings that are associated, if you can access the emotions that are associated with that question, that literally has given you the blueprint and the roadmap to how to answer that question and what you really think.
And if you feel lost when it comes to if you download the feelings wheel, go to Google, get the extended clip, the extended version, and download the feelings wheel and feel your way through that wheel
Yeah,
as you ask yourself that question.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, what is one way that we can do to manage uh, that pressure that comes from protecting and providing?
One of the main things, I think this is the first thing,
Mhm.
is that you have to be able to separate your identity from your responsibilities. We have used our responsibilities to validate us. It's as if the more responsibilities we have as a man, it's like, okay, we feel good about it. So yeah, we're being a man's man. But
Mm.
the thing is, this is a distinction between who you are and your responsibilities. Your responsibilities are not who you are. They are something that you carry because you can lose your business and still be a good man. You can lose your job and still be valuable. You can have financial struggles and still be worthy of love. And you see, what I'd recognize is that the healthiest men know the difference between I failed and I am a failure. Those sentences are totally different. If you feel like, man, I failed, you're recognizing that what you do and what you've experienced is outside of who you are. But when you internalize and you say, man, I'm a failure, you have overly attached yourself to your responsibilities and what you do.
So, how do you practically do that? Like, if I'm the man, the father that puts gas in all the cars and cuts the grass and does all the household maintenance things and coaching the soccer team, like all these things fuel my identity of what a good father is. How do I start saying no? Do I like what is the process of separating the two?
Well, you do those things not to be a good man. You do those things because you are a good man.
Mm.
And that's the reverse engineering that we need to do. Yeah. So it's not like you don't do those things. But if you're doing them to validate who you are as a man, that's where the problem lies. That's where it is. And guess what? Sometimes you do have to say no. Yeah, I ain't coaching no team. Oh, my kids ain't gonna be in no programs. I'm tired. I can't. It's okay. Like, yeah, I'm there. Not. No, just not gonna do it. It doesn't
Mm.
say anything about you at all. So yeah, to your point, yeah, sometimes you got to start saying no. And again, if you feel Just see how you feel when you do say no.
Mm.
That's telling you everything you need to know.
Alright, because if I say no and I feel a sense of relief, because I feel like there's always a the first initial reaction could be a sense of panic,
And
like, "Oh my
guilt
gosh, I
and
said no."
shame, and yeah.
Right, but then if I just let it sit for a little bit, I could also feel like there's a big relief lifted off my
Yeah,
shoulders, like,
there's a weight. Yeah, for sure.
weight,
Def
yeah, yeah.
yeah, absolutely. But you probably not but the thing is when you're overly attached to your responsibilities and what you do, you're probably not gonna feel that relief immediately because your identity is tied to what you do. Your identity is tied to your responsibilities. So if you say, "No, I'm not gonna do this," immediately you're gonna feel that anxiety. You're gonna feel that guilt. You're gonna feel that shame. You're gonna start being self-critical. You're gonna think that you're weak, so on and so forth. And that's your current identity trying to stay alive.
Mhm,
But when you stay the course and be like, "Yeah, I know I'm feeling this way, but it's because I know this is not something I've ever done before, and I know this is going against my current identity, and in order for me to shift this current identity to have a healthier view of myself and who I am, I have to stay the course, so Imma stay the course." Over time, those emotions start to die down, and that's how you know you're starting to get into a healthier place when it comes to how you see yourself as a man. But it
mhm,
doesn't that relief doesn't come quick.
got you. What was the second way that we could, manage that pressure of protecting and providing?
Build a team. Build a team instead of carrying everything yourself. Relinquish some responsibilities. Have other people help you out. And the reason why I say that is because many of us as men believe that strength means independence. But real strength is interdependence, leaning on somebody else who's independent to help you. And if you just think about it logically. What do they say? LeBron spends over $1.5 million dollars on his body.
Mhm,
That's chefs, that's trainers, that's whatever. All these people are specialists. They're helping him. That's what he's not doing everything himself. Every successful company has a great team,
mhm,
right? So if you think about it in that way, it's like we need to do this in our own personal lives. Like they say, as men, we are the CEO of our families. Well, start thinking like a CEO. I would
mhm,
always tell my clients, when they were like, "Yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that," because, nowadays as men, we're not just coming home and just kicking up our feet. Like, we're doing laundry, we're cooking and cleaning, we're doing all these different things.
mhm.
And I told one of my clients, he was like one of my clients was telling me how he's so stressed, he's doing this, he's doing that, he's doing all these different things. I said, "Man, have you ever just considered, like, getting a laundry service?" He's like, "Nah, I feel like that's something that we should be able to do." And I'm like, "You see? That's the fucking problem."
Yeah.
You make enough money to get a laundry service, but your mentality and your understanding of what a man should be able to do or shouldn't do is
Mhm,
holding you in this place where you're stressed and overwhelmed and it's causing issues in your marriage. Where you could literally just get a laundry service for the house. They wash your clothes, they fold your clothes and everything for $100. I said, have you ever thought like just a couple of times a month having somebody to come into the house and just clean everything? And it's like there's an initial issue with that, and I'm like, "Wow." But that all deals with how you see yourself as a man,
mhm.
and there's so many services out here that can make your life easier if you just allocate money towards those areas.
Yeah, I feel like this particular point that you're making, we should definitely have fun with because we all like to play GM for our favorite NBA or NFL teams. So we should be able to play GM in our lives. Like,
Yeah.
let's start acquiring some specialists. Let's get the scouting right, and let's build a real team, a championship team.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're making the money to do it, so why not do it? But again, it's because we have an unhealthy view of manhood, and we feel like, "Oh, these responsibilities we should be able to do." I would say the last one is being able to regulate your nervous system before solving problems.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Save the best for last because we don't recognize that a lot of times that we are making decisions from a nervous system that is overwhelmed and is causing a catastrophic energy within ourselves.
Mhm.
So before making any decision, just slow your body down, go walk outside, lift some weights, meditate, journal, breathe, take a nap. And it's okay. You don't have to make the decision right then and there. You can take a couple of days to make the decision because when your body feels safe, your mind thinks more clearly. Like you don't have to make better decisions because or you don't I would say you don't make better decisions because life got easier. You actually make better decisions because your nervous system became more regulated.
Mm.
Because you think about it, we would say, "Oh yeah, when I get out this phase right here, man, I'm gonna be good." Or when I get out this debt hole right, I'm gonna be good. But you notice that something always ends up coming up to replace that thing?
Always.
Right. So the idea to think that, oh, it's gonna be easier when life gets easier, it's like, no, that's not true because things always come. That's just a part of life. But when you have a regulated nervous system, when you have a routine around your life that helps calm you down, and you have go-to things that you do to help you when things get tough, you can be able to make great decisions within the frame of the chaos. Why? Because you are calm.
Mhm. Now that's very important because I remember a lot of decisions that I made, problem solving decisions were in haste. "Oh, let me
Yeah.
just do that." And it in the
Yeah.
back end, when I look back at it, it was like it cost me twice as much time and
Yeah, bro.
emotion.
Yeah. And, here's a couple of questions that I wanna just put out there for our men to think about. If you lost your income tomorrow, do you believe you'll still have value?
Mm,
Or ask yourself, what responsibility am I carrying that actually doesn't belong to me? Or when was the last time someone asked me how I was really doing? Last one, am I leading from a place of peace or am I leading from a place of fear?
that's a big one.
Yeah. These are some questions to really ask ourselves to really get to the core of what's going on within ourselves. Like, what's really the driving force of us taking on the world and thinking we have to do all these different things? Because providing is honorable, protecting is a great thing to do, leading is honorable, but none of those things determine our worth as men. Like we were valuable long before our first paycheck, before that first promotion, before we became a husband, a father. What we don't recognize is that all of those roles and responsibilities, they don't define us. They just really reveal our character.
Mm,
They don't create any type of value. They just reveal who we are, who we already are. So if you're doing those things to prove that you're a good man, you don't recognize that you've already been good. You've already had value. That value is driving you to do the things that you're doing.
mhm,
And a man who understands that, n- he never stops providing. He simply stops carrying the impossible burden of believing that performing is the only thing that makes him worthy.
well, last question for you. Do you love me?
You already know, man. Love, the brotherhood is always a great thing that gets me up in the morning.
Let's go. Love you too, bro.
Until we pod again.
It's my time to heal. On my path to feel. Growing up with emotional instability sets the stage for emotional immaturity.